of a child's first cry. In the dimmish light, he knelt beside the bed of straw where Mary lay, pale and weak, but wide-eyed and with a small, brave smile for him. "See," she murmured. Joseph was on his knees. Mary held out firm hands, lifting up her son, wrapped in Grandmother Anna's swaddling clothes. Lifting him up adoringly, the fate of the world remained in the chalice of her hands. Even in the first instant of seeing the child, Joseph was aware of something extraordinarily different about him. Somehow he knew that this newborn baby, whose face was not red and wrinkled but smooth and white, and whose expression was of such potent innocence and affection, had come into the world to get nothing and to give everything. Mary had fallen asleep, and there was quiet in the stable. Anna and Jehoiakim made a bed for themselves far back in the shadows. And Jesus, the baby, lay asleep in his first bed, which was the food box of the donkeys and the cows, a manger which the foster father had hastily filled with fresh hay and barley oats that smelled sweet and clean. For Joseph, sleep was impossible. His mind, his very soul, was too tremulous and excited. Again, he paced in a kind of march around the stable, stopping regularly to see that Mary and her child still breathed, which they did quite naturally. There was a glee in Joseph, a sacred rippling joy in his blood, a bounce to his muscles. His only regret was that he had no one to talk to. Joseph, in that dark hour, could have poured out his heart in rapturous conversation. The oddest thing about it, he told himself, in the absence of any companion, was the feeling I had when I looked into that little fellow's eyes. I seemed to have known him all my life. He wasn't a stranger. Was that a special fact because Jesus was a special child? Because after all, Joseph was not the child's father, and even now he did not allow himself to forget it. Yet he felt a tender closeness to the baby, deeper and truer than fatherhood itself. He still felt baffled that there was no further sign. A long time had passed while Mary carried her baby, with no reassurance from supernatural beings. 9 months since the angel had stood with folded wings in the Nazareth house, the day of the Annunciation. After that, the dream message had come to Joseph. Then silence, months of commonplace reality. Was it not strange that the baby had been born without some demonstration? Here was the child, but where were the angels? He listened for a rustling of wings and heard only the sleepy bleat of a yearling lamb. That, and presently a low rumble of distant voices, the shuffling of feet outside the house, and at the lower back of the entrance of the stable, the knocking of a staff. With a gasp of concern that Mary would be awakened, Joseph hurried to the door. Unfastening the latch, he opened the upper half of the door, then put a finger warningly to his mouth. A group of bearded faces were staring in at him. One man held up a lighted lantern. Behind them was still the night, dark and clear, with the sparkle of unaccountable and extraordinarily brilliant stars. Joseph had not seen those stars until now. "Peace," breathed Joseph. "This is no time to make noise." "The Lord be unto you," returned one of the men in a low, placating voice. "We have not come to make any trouble at all." "Who are you then?" asked Joseph. "We are shepherds from the hills outside this town. We have been tending our flocks." "The hour is late," insisted Joseph firmly. He would have closed the door, but the speaker held up his hand. Wait, only one question. Has a child just been born in this place?"